Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. Today in 1916 Roald Dahl was born, and he, of course, one of the greatest writers of fiction for children until his death just over 30 years ago. Someone who has gained enormous reputation, and so when Christine Wotton wrote to him as a young literature student studying for her degree, she didn't really expect a reply. But up in auction soon will be his long, handwritten, detailed response. She wrote to him, now she's a librarian in Chagford on Dartmoor, but she wrote to him asking questions about his style, about his attitude to children's literature, and she said it was just out of the blue. She had no real thought that there would be any kind of reply, maybe a one-line autographed note, but she just thought she'd take the risk and throw it out there. One of the things that Roald Dahl says in this reply is how important he thinks it is for children to read. He says the reading child is much likely to succeed in life than the non-reading child, something I was saying in effect last week in one of my videos. But he goes on to say about his own writing that he's not trying to make any particularly moral point, he's not trying to convey a message, he simply wants to get the children interested, he wants them to enjoy it, he wants them to like reading, to engage with the fantasy. And he says that once a child has discovered that reading is a pleasurable activity, then they'll go on doing it, and this was his aim. I think it's undoubtedly true that reading does broaden our experience and probably make us better people in small or maybe even larger ways. But what I wanted to pick on particularly today was Christine Wotton's approach, this idea that she would send a letter to Roald Dahl, not really expecting a response. And so that what came back was entirely unexpected. And I think there are times in life, aren't there, when we kind of assume we know what will happen. We know from perhaps previous experience, or because it's easily predicted, or for one reason or another, things that we do, we know will have a certain response. And so sometimes that narrows down what we do, because we don't do the things where we don't know what the response will be. They take the risk just to throw something out there and see what happens. And so we miss the opportunity for unexpected surprises because we haven't taken the risk of saying or doing something that didn't have a predictable response. So I think today I'm going to try and be a little bit more daring in what I say, what I do, even how I feel, just to see what happens, to see what the response is. We may not find it leads us anywhere, but like Christine Wotton found, leading her to this lengthy and delightful reply from Roald Dahl, it sometimes can produce unexpected dividends.